Downing Street has dismissed the idea of paying a Brexit divorce bill of up to €40 billion £36 billion as leading supporters of leaving the EU said they would not accept handing over such a large sum. Theresa May was reported on Sunday to be willing to pay that amount as the price for getting on with trade talks and an exit deal. Failure to reach Brexit deal, suicide, for UK, says former EU chief. Read more. The sum would be a compromise, because Brussels has demanded about €60 billion. The €40 billion figure would still be the equivalent of several years of contributions to the EU budget, which would continue to be paid after Britain leaves the EU in March 2019. A Downing Street source, however, said the figure, which was mentioned by Brussels sources quoted in the Sunday Telegraph, was inaccurate speculation, playing down the idea that such a high bill would be acceptable to the government or Brexit voters. The issue of payments to the EU is a huge political problem for Number 10. Partly because the Brexit campaign mentioned recouping £350 million a week from Brussels to put towards the NHS. At the same time, the EU will not progress to the next stage of talks on the future relationship until it deems that sufficient progress has been made on the financial settlement. Michel Barnier, the EU's chief Brexit negotiator, told diplomats last month that the next step may be pushed back to December because Britain is stalling on the bill. Finn's cable hits out at hardline. Brexit martyrs. Read more. May and David Davis, the Brexit secretary, have accepted that an amount will have to be paid, saying they need to determine a fair settlement of the UK's rights and obligations. But some Brexit supporters take a much harder line against payments to the EU. Boris Johnson, the Foreign Secretary, told the House of Commons last month that Brussels could go whistle. Others dismissed the idea of handing over payments to the EU after leaving. The Conservative MP Jacob Rees-Mogg said there was no logic to this figure. Legally we owe nothing. His colleague Peter Bone said it would be very strange for Parliament to vote in favour of such large sums.